All right, weekly update here on the 30th. Starting here with Apple. Looking at the chart, let's go to the weekly time frame. So obviously in the weekly time frame here on the log chart, you can see a little bit better. I think we are in a fifth wave of an overall fifth wave. I've gone over that before. And we potentially already topped out here. This could have already been the fifth wave. We did make a higher high here after making a pretty big pullback from 196 to 165. So it kind of remains to be seen. The two paths I can see are, again, this, something like that, or we already topped out. If that happens, if we already topped out, then I'm looking for this to be a five-wave move to start off the correction. So we'd probably come down here to 158, and that is the bear move compared to the bull move. I marked that in the last video last weekend. So I have ABC right here. If we can hold this low at 168, potentially could start making a move higher here. I think I'm leaning towards the bear move more here now. We have a gap at 158. So that'd be my target if we do sell off and break this low. And then, of course, the invalidation for the move higher is if we go below 165, this low right here, 165-ish. So zoom in here on the daily now. This looks pretty corrective to me. And I zoomed in a little bit farther on the last video, but if this is going to go lower here, it's probably going to look like this. If it's going to go higher here, the invalidation for a five-wave move is breaking above 180. So we're currently in a demand zone right here. It did break below that though. So we'll see if it bounces out of here. There is a supply zone here at 175 and then one above that too, and a gap fill we did not actually fill last week at 179.47. So we'll see which one plays out. Is it going to hold 165 and make a new high, or maybe some other corrective move, or are we going to break below that and confirm a five-wave move? Because if you look at this right here, this looks like a five-wave move to me. We broke the parallel line. We hit the 1.61 fib. So this should be a fourth wave. So I'm favoring the move down. So we'll see what happens. But if it hits 158, I'd be very interested in buying there because, again, we're at the very bottom of the standard deviations on the daily time frame. It would be very oversold at that point. It'd probably be oversold on the daily at that point as well. So I'd be interested in buying if it comes down here to 158. Right now, I was in it. I did a few trades in here, but I'm out completely right now. And maybe it will invalidate. Maybe it will come up here to like 180, 185. But right now, I'm just kind of watching. Microsoft, this could be a third wave, and it could also be a B wave still, because this could be A, B, C, come back down here like that. So that would be kind of the scenario where Apple goes to 158. Microsoft will probably come back down here to at least like low 400s. Or this could be making a fourth wave, and you'd be expecting a fifth wave higher after that. So invalidation on this is going to be 415.92. If it breaks that, then I'm leaning towards the downside. If it holds that and starts moving higher, then you're looking for a fifth wave higher. That could potentially go to 440, 450, something like that. So we'll see what happens on that one. Amazon is, again, same boat. It looks to me like fourth wave ended right here, and then 1, 2. Third wave would probably be around 185, fourth wave 182, and then we'd be getting a fifth wave higher, maybe around 200. So kind of the same idea. Really, this week didn't really change that much. I'm still looking for either that or a continuation up here to 185. So I'd probably lean towards the continuation, but This is definitely a possibility back down here to 176. Break below 173, looking down here at 170. There's nothing to indicate that a big move lower is coming though on these, so we'll see what happens. Tesla, get rid of all this. You can see what I think is probably going to happen. So again, very tricky to trade this on smaller time frames. There's just so many gap up, gap downs, little moves. Like I can show you, like if you go down to the 3-minute time frame right here. I know, 3-minute time frame, really low time frame, but this all happened within the first hour of the day. Gap down to 168, reverses to 175, back down to 169, all in the first hour and a half of the day, and then it just chops the rest of the day. So you're thinking, okay, we got an impulse move down, we're chopping like this. This is a very good short opportunity with a stop above the high, and what happens the next day? Gap up to 184. So this is pretty much untradeable on smaller time frames if you're trying to trade it. I don't see any way you're going to trade this very successfully unless you're doing like range trading where you're like buying, you're slowly like kind of averaging into puts as it goes higher, averaging into calls as it goes lower with like far out expirations. But trading this is very tough because there's so many gap ups and gap downs. You can be down so quickly on your position. So I don't recommend that. And what I think is happening here is I really think this is a B wave right here. So I think we're looking at this and we're making a C wave down. We do have a demand zone right here. So this is very bullish in my opinion. There's a demand zone right here. The gap is at 172. We basically finished right above this. So my thinking is that early next week, this has a good chance of filling that gap. And it could come down lower than that too. But there is a demand zone right here. So this could be a lot of different things. If it does break into this right here though, then it can't be a 5-wave move. But it could just be an ABC move. So we could be looking at a WXY overall. It could just be like this. And this would end up being ABC down here to the gap fill at 172. We have demand right here. So it's going to need like really bad deliveries on Tuesday to get through this 175 to 168 area and break all the way down here to the gap fill at 163. That's still possible too because this could be a 5-wave move. If it's a 5-wave move, then you're looking at it like probably something like this down here. But the overall structure is still bullish in my opinion. I don't see this as a continuation to the downside. So I'm looking at the number one scenario is probably something like this. I would look for like 190, pull back out of this zone, and then a move up here to 200. That's what I'm looking for. Could end up coming all the way down here, and I would still say the same thing, probably. It might, this would be a little bit more sketchy because it would come down here close to where it bottomed out at, but I still think that structure would be favorable for another move higher to at least 190. And it could be ABC too, and I'm wrong about this being 5 waves, but I still think there's at least one more move higher. On standard deviation, you're pretty much like you could come down here to 130 gap, 140 gap, but I think that's very unlikely. So look for a pullback. You got support right here, 168 to 175. You got support here in the low 160s, and that's Tesla. BA. So BA with a nice move from the lows. Didn't quite get up here to the gap fill at 198. And hard to tell if this is finished or not. but probably, how far did we retrace here? We already retraced to the 0.5 fib. So there's a good chance that this is going to start moving higher right away. This could be wave A or wave 1. So A or 1. And then this could be B or 2. It could come back down here farther as well. If I zoom in here, I could probably have an idea. But this second wave or B wave might be finished. So let's just say it's finished. Then you're looking at, you're probably looking at a minimum of like 205. So I think it can come through this demand zone too. It could fill the gap. There's another demand or supply zone up here at 210. The 1.61 fib, oops, is sitting here right in that gap, right in that area. So is there a gap there? Yeah, there's a gap up here at 208. That's right around the 1.61 fib. So Boeing at 192 is probably got some upside coming, unless it ends up going like this. It could end up being, you know, come down here a little bit farther, potentially down here, but again, it's going to go up higher probably. This is probably not the full move. You're looking for at least a gap fill of 198 and then probably up here to 207. Then zooming out here on the daily, it's kind of hard to say exactly what this is. This might be the start of a downtrend, and this might be a second wave. Could be similar to what Apple's doing, where it's kind of the exact same chart actually. We came down here, it's starting to bounce a little bit. It could be a second wave here, so you got to be careful. This looks like it was 5 waves, unless it's some kind of tricky second wave, which I don't think it is. The 0.5 fib is sitting here around 222. And you look at the standard deviations, you're at the lower end of that as well. So it can move up here a little bit farther. I'll be looking for about 205 to 210 in the short term, and probably almost definitely going to fill this gap at 198. But you do have a gap up here at 242 also. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up taking out that at some point as well. So pretty bullish short term in my opinion, and not very much downside if it invalidates. You could go down to 160 potentially, but I don't see that happening. Probably 198, 205 would be pretty much guaranteed. I have this pulled up as Zim. Integrated shipping. I've been looking at this stock. I think this is probably 5 waves right here. Ignore the markings that I had. So, and then we got a huge bounce. This probably bottomed at 667, but it has retraced since it hit 15. And I have a gap down here at 835 to 755. So that would be kind of my interest of where to buy. If it does come down to this area, I might buy some, because this is probably going to at least turn into something like that. If it's going to go lower after this, which who knows, this could be a second wave too. This could be the start of a move much higher, but let's just say ABC to be safe. If I bought an eight bucks right here, I'd probably be looking for at least somewhere around 20 bucks. So that would be about 150% return. So I think it's a pretty good buy around 8 bucks. I'm not sure about if there's a dividend on this. I haven't checked into that, but there used to be a pretty big dividend on this stock. So maybe that's in there too. If that's the case, it's even better buy. So that's Zim. I have Palantir pulled up here. Palantir is close to the top, or it already topped. This part was pretty tricky right here. It caught me a little bit. I was saying right around here was going to be the top. ended up going higher than that. You have a gap up here at 31. That's the last gap on the chart. So my thinking on Palantir is, and I'll show you on the weekly time frame. You have 1, 2, 3. This being a 5-wave move right here in itself. That's 3. Then you get this tricky area right here. Go back to daily. Impulse down. You get this ABC move up. And then you get, it looks like an ABC move. I think this is supposed to be a 5-wave move right here. And you can see if I draw a parallel line here for the B wave. Okay, on the log chart, it doesn't work. But on the regular chart, it hits like basically perfectly. Well, not perfectly, I guess, but pretty perfectly. So I have this as a C wave right here for the overall 4th wave. And then you get this move right here, which has a clear 3rd wave right here, 4th wave, and then potentially a diagonal right here. It's possible that it goes like this. Something like that. And then we get 5 waves up here, and we fill this final gap up here at 31 bucks. But again, if you go to the weekly time frame, this has ran from 6 bucks all the way to 27 bucks in about a year and 3 or 4 months. I know they're profitable now, but on the standard deviations too, they're at the top of the range. So I'd be careful on this one. I think it probably will come up here to 31 and fill this gap before it sells off. But let's just say that's the top, and this is a 5-wave move. I'd be looking for at least a pullback to this gap fill right here at 16 bucks. So potentially, if it goes to 31, that'd be a 50% loss. Right now, that'd be about a 33% loss. So you have gaps here at 15 bucks. You have gaps all the way down here. These are possible too. So watch out on Palantir. Either one more move to 31 or it's starting to move back down here to the low teens. Nividia. I didn't really look at this the whole week, so let's take a look at it, see what happened. Those are the 2 scenarios from last week I still have on here, and look at that. It looks like the ABC move is probably going to play out. It hit my target almost exactly, 970, and that was the 1.61 fib of the A wave. So A, B, and I was saying that it has to do this. It needs to go like that. But what do we get? We got a sell off. So that already invalidated it. Yeah, it already invalidated. It came back into this. So that means we are looking at potentially more downside here. I'd probably be looking for this to come back down here to 860. And let's see. But you know what this probably is? This is probably a 4th wave. A, B, C, 4th wave here, and then it goes higher. So this is actually pretty good for if you're long. You like this move right here. It did hold the highs. There's a slight chance, you have to monitor it, slight chance that that was a top. If that's a top, then you're looking for it to break through these daily demand zones. And it would have to come all the way down here to 758 for it to be an impulse move. So I would lean towards this being ABC and then going higher after that. So it still has not hit 1,000 yet, but I think it's coming here soon. Wait for this move to finish. We're probably in a 3rd wave here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that down in this box. I'd be going long because you're probably going to get it to 1,000. So that favors all the downside moves early early in April. And let's go over QQQ. All right, so QQQ. The crazy thing is QQQ has like not even hardly fallen at all. It doesn't really matter what all those stocks do. It's just steady and goes up or stays flat. So QQQ still can be, it can still go higher like that, or it can also invalidate and come back down here. So it could end up being a, or I don't even know if I'm marking this right now. This is probably a, so many zigzags here. Either this is going to invalidate here at 441, or we're going to see a move higher. So 441 is where I'm watching. If you break below that, then it's almost definitely, we're still in a second wave, a very long, drawn-out second wave. So 441, and if it doesn't break that, then I'd be looking for another move higher here to the 1.61 fib of this first wave, sitting here at 452. So 452 or breaks 441, I'd be looking at this first box at 438 to 433, break that down here to 425. So it's definitely possible that we get something like this. That's possible. Or it goes to 452. The dollar is going higher here. Remember, if it breaks above 107.35, that's the invalidation level for my play where it comes down here to the low 90s. So the only other possibility I see with this structure is, let's see, this would have to be a 5-wave move. Like that. So even if it does do this, it's still going to come back down here. And after that, it's probably, if it does do this, let's say it does this scenario right here, that C wave down here to the low 90s, there's going to be some kind of event that's going to happen because we're going to get a very swift sell-off in the dollar. But if it holds right here, or let's say it comes to 105, then it only needs to make a third, fourth, and fifth wave. So based on what I'm seeing on this, I don't really care which one happens. We haven't had a pullback in the market, so maybe this one does play out and we come up here higher. But then again, after that, the market's going to melt up even more. So I don't think the market's even close to topping out yet. Maybe on some of the individual stocks, like or the growth stocks, but for the most part, this dollar chart is showing that we have more upside in the overall market. Everything's good. We could see some downside short term, but that's not a big deal. You can buy the dip. I think we're probably bullish till at least the summertime and maybe even the election because they're probably not going to crash the market or like have a big correction before the election because they want to make everything look good going into the election. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I missed that much stuff. I probably missed a few stocks. Look right here. Oh, I didn't go over the Bitcoin stuff. Bitcoin, I really am skeptical about this right here going straight up. I think this is probably a B wave. I don't know where my markings went. They go. Apparently my markings got erased. I don't know how that happened. Well, anyway, this is a third wave. I know that. I don't know how these got erased. So we're in a third wave. Let me figure out. We have 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so second wave is right here. first and third wave here. And I'm on a regular chart too. That's going to make a difference. So first and third wave. And you can see here, we did cross the midpoint right here. Let's take a look at this move from the bottom. Yeah, see, it's staying within this parallel line. So I think we're in a B wave. So that kind of matches up with everything I'm seeing on all the tech stocks. I think this can come up here to 73 potentially, or it already topped out. And I think you're headed down here. I think we need another correction on Bitcoin down here to the low 60s, maybe high 50s. And then it's a time to buy and go long for the move to 100. So Mara, this looks like an ABC move to me. I really hope this doesn't happen where it sells off and goes to new lows. It needs to hold 17 to 19, or else it could come all the way back down here to 13 bucks. We sold off to 17 bucks when Bitcoin was at low 60s. So if this front runs the move on Bitcoin like it's been front running everything else, you could see a massive sell-off in Mara this week. So we'll have to watch that. See how it goes. I think that's it for me for today. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I'll catch you in next week's video. I'll do some individual stock updates during the week.